able to leave the Bhagavatam class at that time. So in between, if you like to break fast, you may get some sweets from the Archana counter and break your fast. Now it is time to break fast, okay? And until 8:56. Thank you.
没有课界的，现在要课界。讲完国家法坛后，时间已经过了，现在是课界。
要做快点，开始要。
Jadiyoto jiva
Возможности не было, только все. Я
Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva Bolo Hare Hare Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva Nashmahavamana Shrimadusudana Rajendra Nandana Shyama Nashmahavamana Shrimadusudana Rajendra Nandana Shyama Narsimhavamana Srimadhusudana Rajendra Nandana Shyama Putana Gathana Kaitava Shatana Jaya Dasarathi Rama 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 Yashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandhara 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 Gopi Priya Jana Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundara Bhora 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 Ravana Thakura Makhana Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari Ravana Thakura Makhana Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari Ravana Thakura Makhana Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari Brajera Rakala Gopa Vrindapalo Chitta Hari Vamsidhari Brajera Rakala Gopa Vrindapalo Chitta Hari Vamsidhari Yogendra Bandhana Srinandanandana Rajajana Bhayahari Yogendra Bandhana Srinandanandana Rajajana Bhayahari Nabhinani Radha Rupa Manohara Mohana Vamsi Bihari Nabhinani Radha Rupa Manohara Mohana Bamsi Bihari. Yashoda Nandana Kamsa Nishodhana Nikunja Rasa Vilasi. Yashoda Nandana Kamsa Nishodhana Nikunja Rasa Vilasi. Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Vrindavitina Nivasi. Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Vrindavitina Nivasi. Ananda Vardhana Premani Ketana Tulasharayo Jakakama. Ananda Vardhana Premani Ketana Tulasharayo Jakakama. Gopangana Gana Chita Vinodana Samasta Guna Gana Kama. Gopangana Gana Chita Vinodana Samasta Guna Gana Kama. Yamuna Jivana Kili Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora. Yamuna Jivana Kili Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora. Namah Shudaras, O Krishna Yash, Rakho Vachanamana Mohora. Namah Shudaras, O Krishna Yash, Rakho Vachanamana Mohora. Bari Shesha Aloka Prabhesha Nidratari Uttajiva. Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva. Nitai Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Godfrey Manande. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prestaya, Namaste Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vicharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Text number 7. Nasta Praeshu Vavadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. We're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 21, Instructions by Maharaj Prithu, text numbers 7.
我们今天继续阅读圣母要谈第4篇第21章马尔推土的教导世界期。
all good. Yes, here we go. Sa evam adini anavajyatastita karmani duyamsi mahan mahatama kurvan sasasavani mandalam yasha spitam nidaya ruruhe param padam saevam madinyana bhadyatestita saevam madin anuvajyatestita karmani duyamsi mahan mahatama karmani duyamsi mahan mahatama kurvan satasavani mandalam yasha kurvan sasasavani mandalam yasha spitam nidayat ruruhe param padam spitam nidayat ruruhe param padam saevam madinyana vajyatestita karmani duyamsi mahan mahatama kurvan sasasvani mandalam yasha spitam nidayu ruruhe param padam saevam madin anavajyatestita karmani duyamsi mahan mahatama kurvan sasasavani mandalam yasha spitam niraya ruruhe param padam Meditate.
Amen.
King Prithu. Evam. Thus.
如此，
Galini. From the very beginning.
从一开始，
Anavadya. Magnanimous.
慷慨大度的，
Chastita. Performing various works.
从事各种活动，
Karmani. Work.
工作，
Uyamsi. Repeatedly.
反复的，
Mahan. Great.
伟大的，
Mahatama. Greater than the greatest.
比最伟大的还要伟大，
Kurvan. Performing.
从事了，
Sasasasam. Rule.
统治了，
Avani Mandalam. The surface of the earth.
地球表面，
Yasha. Reputation.
声望，
Pitam. Widespread.
广泛传播，
Nadaya. Achieving.
取得了，
Aruruhe. Was elevated.
被提升到
Param Padam. To the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord.
到至尊主的莲花足。
Translation. King Prithu was greater than the greatest soul and was therefore worshipable by everyone. He performed many glorious activities in ruling over the surface of the world and was always magnanimous. After achieving great success and a reputation which spread throughout the universe, he at last attained the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God.
译文：推土国王比最伟大的灵魂还伟大，因此值得受所有人的敬仰和崇拜。在统治整个地球期间，他从事了许多光荣活动，而且总是宽宏大量，品德高尚。在取得如此非凡的成就，美名传遍全宇宙后，他终于到达至真人格守神的莲花足旁。
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A responsible king or chief executive has many responsible duties to attend to in ruling over the citizens. The most important duty of the monarch or the government is to perform various sacrifices as it enjoined in the Vedic literature. The next duty of the king is to see that every citizen executes the prescribed duties for his particular community. It is the king's duty to see that everyone perfectly executes the duties prescribed for the Varna and Ashrama divisions of society. Besides that, as exemplified by King Prithu, he must develop the earth for the greatest possible production of food grains. There are different types of great personalities. Some are positive great personalities, some comparative, and some superlative. But King Prithu exceeded all of them. He is therefore described here as Mahatamaha, greater than the greatest. Maharaj Prithu was a Kshatriya, and he discharged his Kshatriya duties perfectly. Similarly, Brahman, Vaishyas, and Sudras can discharge their respective duties perfectly, and thus at the ultimate end of life be promoted to the transcendental world, which is called Parampadam. Parampadam, or the Vaikuntha planets, can be achieved only by devotional service. The impersonal Brahman region is also called Parampadam, but unless one is attached to the personality of Godhead, one must again fall down to the material world from the impersonal Parampadam situation. It is therefore said, Arora Krishrena Parampadam Tata. the impersonalists endeavor very strenuously to achieve the Parampadam, or impersonal Brahmajyoti, but unfortunately, being bereft of a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they come down again to the material world. If one flies in outer space, he can go very high up, but unless he reaches a planet, he must come down again to earth. Similarly, because the impersonalists who reach the Parampadam of the impersonal Brahmajyoti do not enter into the Vaikuntha planets, they come down again to the material world and are given shelter in one of the material planets. Although they may attain Brahmaloka or Satyaloka, all such planets are situated in the material world.
要指一个有责任心的君王或执政领袖，为管理国民要承担许多责任。统治者或政府最重要的责任是按照伟大文献中的指示举行各种祭祀。君王的第二项责任是要确保每一个国民都完美地履行自己所在阶层的规定职责，也就是他所在的社会四阶层和四阿尔玛和灵性四阶段阿上中的规定职责。除此之外，按照推土国王所树立的榜样，执政首脑必须开垦土地，以便大量的生产粮食。伟大的人物，伟大的程度各不相同，有的是伟大，有的是更伟大，有的是最伟大。但推土国王胜过所有这些伟大的人物。重因此，这节诗中描述他是比最伟大还伟大。推土国王是一个差错样，而他完美地履行了作为沙地里的责任。同样，拉玛那、白士和书者也被完美地履行各自的职责，以使自己在此生结束后被提送到超然的世界去。那个世界被称为是持道无上的地点或外昆帕星球，人只有靠做奉爱服务才能到达那里。不具人格特征的梵拉曼的区域也被称为至高无上的地点，但人除非依恋人格属神，否则必从那个不具特征的区域再次掉下来。正因此，圣典加瓦坛10.2.32说，非人格主义者经过艰苦努力要到达不具人格特征的泛光Brahmajyoti，但不幸因为没有恢复与至尊人格守神关系，他们再次掉到这个物质世界里。人如果在外太空翱翔，可以上升到很高的地方，但除非他到一个星球上，否则必然会掉回到地球上。同样，由于到达不具人格特征的泛光的非人格主义者没能进入外昆塔，他们再次掉到物质世界，住在其中一个物质星球。尽管他们也许能到达 Brahmaloka 或 Satyaloka， 但这些星球都坐落在物质世界。
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Dikam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Maitreya is describing to Vidura the glories of Maharaj Prithu and his wonderful activities as the king of the earth.
买tri亚向美杜尔描述了瑞土国王的事迹，他在地球上，成功的做了一个统治者。
There are people who often claim that they are the greatest, but Maharaj Prithu is described as greater than the greatest.
有很多人自称是最伟大的人物，但是瑞土王呢，他比最伟大的还要伟大。
So this is the words of Srimad Bhagavatam that he's described in this way. So we take it as being absolutely true.
因为是圣典国家瓦坛这样描述了瑞土国王，所以我们便接受它为真理。
So why is he so great? One of the reasons was that he performed all the duties which were required as the king.
他为什么这么伟大呢？其中一个原因是他履行了做一个君主的职责。
And first of all, the duty of the king was to perform sacrifice. In other ages, the sacrifices were Vedic sacrifices, chanting Vedic mantras.
君王的第一项职责是举行祭祀，而在以前的年代，他们的祭祀是唱诵伟大 mantra。
It cost a lot of money. You had to have a lot of gold. Before Maharaj Yudhishthira could perform Rajasuya sacrifice, he had to send his brothers around the earth to collect the gold.
要举行这类祭祀，花费大量的黄金。尤利斯蒂尔Maharaj他为了举行黄祭，派了他的4个兄弟到四面八方。
It is said there's a golden mountain. Beside Mount Meru, there's one golden mountain there. And Arjuna had gone there and brought some of the gold back for Maharaj Yudhishthira's sacrifice.
在梅鲁山有一座金山，阿朱那去了那里，就给他的哥哥带回了许多大量的黄金。
And Maharaj Prithu, as a king, he performed wonderful sacrifices, and his sacrifices were so powerful that the Supreme Lord would personally come there and receive the offerings.
普土王他如此的伟大，他举行了许多的献祭，而且这些献祭都很成功，以至于 Vishnu 就亲临现场了。
In the Kali Yuga, the proper sacrifice, the proper yajna, is the chanting of the holy name, as taught to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
在卡里年代，正确的献祭是由Chaitanya Mahaprabhu教授我们的，是唱诵主的圣名。
Another of the duties of a king was to make sure that everyone executed their duties according to their prescribed varna and ashram.
君主的第二项职责是确保臣民们都根据自己的 varna 和 ashram 履行规定的职责。
That somebody would, just like in Srimad Bhagavatam, we read how Maharaj Parikshit was traveling around his kingdom, and he saw someone dressed as a king who was obviously a Sudra.
就像和日式的王在巡视地球期间，发现一个穿着像书者的人。
So when there are anomalies in the state like this, it is the duty of the ruler to correct these situations and to correct the person and to bring him to his proper position.
当有一个君主发现他的国度之内呢有这种异常的现象的时候，他就有责任要纠正这个现象。
So Maharaj Prithu was expert to make sure that everyone performed their proper duties. The brahmanas did the duties of a brahmana.
所以奎土王就擅长让每个臣民履行各自的职责，婆罗门要履行婆罗门责任。
A brahmana is not supposed to take up service from others, but in the Kali Yuga we see all the brahmanas, they're all taking up jobs serving.
一位婆罗门是不应该去 为别人去做服务的。但是我们发现呢，在他的年代呢，这些婆罗门呢，他们都去上班工作。
So therefore it is said that in the Kali Yuga, Kalo Sudra Sambhavaha, that in the Kali Yuga everyone is a Sudra or lower by birth.
在康理年代，每个人都是，他们一生下来，他们的地位是比疏者还要，都是疏者或者低于疏者地位。
But in the times of Maharaj Prithu, because Maharaj Prithu was such an expert king, he made sure everyone followed their duties and did their prescribed work.
但是在普土王统治期间，他基于此道，他要确保每个人都伦敦敬奉。
The Brahmana's duty is to study the scriptures and teach the scriptures and to worship the deities and teach other people to worship the deities.
婆罗门他们应该去研习经典，教授其他人经典，崇拜神像，教导他人崇拜神像。
Brahmana is allowed to accept charity and he's allowed to also give charity.
婆罗门被允许去接受布施，并且允许去给予布施。
So those are the prescribed duties of a Brahmana. They're not expected to do any other kind of work.
所以婆罗门被指望着从事上述这六项活动，而不是去从事其他活动。
And similarly, the Vaishya, his duty is to care for the cows and to do farming and trading.
而歪下的责任是照顾母牛，从事农耕贸易。
And the Sudra's duty is simply to serve others.
疏者的职责只是服务他人。
And so in the Kali Yuga, practically everyone is Sudra and lower.
在康理年代，事实上每个人都是疏者或低于疏者。
So Maharaj Prithu was very careful to make sure everyone followed their duties according to their proper qualification.
马哈拉是普土王，确保每个人都根据他们各自的资格履行各自的职分。
The four divisions of society is described in Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says, Chatur Varnam Maya Shishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. That Lord Krishna said, I am the creator of these divisions of society, and I created them according to quality and work, guna and karma.
主奎什那在《德迦梵歌》说，社会四阶层、灵性四阶段是由我创造的，我根据他们的工作和品质创造。
But unfortunately, the whole system of Varna and Ashram has become degraded, and people think it simply by birth, by janma, nothing else.
但不幸的是，整个这个瓦纳什制度就变得堕落了，人们只是评判一个人的瓦纳什，评判他的出生。
So within our Krishna consciousness movement, we don't designate people as Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. Everyone is simply devoted.
在我们的奎什那自觉运动当中，我们并不给一个人下定义，给他头衔儿，我 Brahmana、Kshatriya、Vaishya、Shudra。我们认为所有的都是奎什那的奉献者。
Everyone should be taught to work for Krishna, and in this way make their life perfect.
每个人都应该被教导，为奎什那工作服务，以使生命达到完美。
But in the times of Maharaj Prithu, people were taught to follow the varnas and ashrams, and in this way make their life perfect.
但是在贵族王的时代呢，每个人被教导着要遵循他们各自的瓦纳什，从而使人生达到完美。
Then Srila Prabhupada discusses how the Parampadam can mean also entering into the Brahmajyoti. The impersonal Brahmajyoti is also the Lord is also the energy of the Lord, it's spiritual energy.
帕帕德他说到，这个塔让塔当也可以指的是非人格的放光，人可以甚至可以到达这个非人格的放光。
So the impersonalists, they achieve the lotus feet of the Lord, by entering into the Brahmajyoti.
非人格主义者是通过进入放光从而达到主的莲花觉。
So although they enter into the Brahmajyoti, they cannot remain there forever.
尽管他们已经到达了放光的层面，但是却不能久留。
Because in the Brahmajyoti there are no activities, there is no relationship, there is just simply the oneness of the impersonal Brahmajyoti.
因为在放光当中既没有关系，也没有活动，而在那个放光呢，只有这个具人格特征的一。
So the impersonalists may enter to the Brahmajyoti, but they cannot remain in that condition. And after some time, they again come back to the material world.
所以非人格主义者甚至他们可以晋升到Brahmajyoti 的层面上，但是他们不能久留，这段时间还要重返物质世界。
Srila Prabhupada's purport quotes that relevant verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which describes how the impersonalists come back again to the material world due to their impure intelligence.
所以圣帕帕德引述了佛伽瓦从这个诗节来陈述说，非人格主义者由于他们的智慧不纯净，所以要重返物质世界。
Because they have no knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they don't enter into any of the Vaikuntha planets. They simply enter into the Brahmajyoti.
因为他们对至尊人格守神没有概念，所以他们就只能去放光待一阵的时间。
So they enter into the Brahmajyoti for some time, but because there's no activity, the nature of the soul is that the soul needs activities. And in search of activity, the souls will leave the Brahmajyoti and come back to the material world.
因为灵魂的本性就是要从事活动，所以当他们在Brahmajyoti 停留期间呢，他们因为没有事情可做，所以他们为了寻求这种活动，会再次重返这物质世界。
Although they have achieved liberation, they do not find satisfaction there. They simply find relief from the material existence.
尽管他们甚至都已经达到了解脱，但是他们还是不满足，他们只是在那里呢摆脱了物质的痛苦而已。
So impersonal liberation is what's called Sayuja Mukti. One enters into that Brahmajyoti, but there's nothing, there's just no activity. So the soul is not satisfied in that condition.
所以这种解脱被称为是 Sayuja Mukti，他们已经达到了这个层面解脱层面，但是由于他们内心仍然不满足，所以他们再次回到物质活动。
And therefore they'll come back to the material world and again take up some kind of material activities in the form of welfare activities, working for the benefit of society, giving the material benefits, sometimes making a kitchen or an old people's home or building a hospital or a mundane school.
所以他们为了寻求这个活动，他们回到物质世界会从事一些福利工作，比如说他们会开养老院，或者是施舍食物的地方，或者是孤儿院，或者是医院，就这类的世俗的机构。
And so they have renounced the material world. They have given up the material world. They've entered into the spiritual existence. But they could not remain in that void, in that condition without any activity.
所以，即便他们已经弃绝了，离去了物质世界，进入到这个泛光，但是因为他们没有活动可做，他们还会再次从事活动。
And they come back to the material world and take up welfare activities.
他们会回到物质世界去从事一些福利工作。
They do not know what is real spiritual activity.
他们对于真正的灵性活动一无所知。
And so that only the devotees know through the practice of bhakti yoga. They know how to fully satisfy the soul by spiritual activities.
只有奉献者通过 Bhakti Yoga 才了解灵性的活动，从而使他们自己感到心满意足。
So Maharaj Prithu, he was a devotee. He was engaged in devotional service. He had taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord.
所以 Maharaj Prithu 因为他是一个奉献者，最了解灵性活动，他脱离主的莲花丛。
He was able to fully engage himself in devotional activities and to remain fully satisfied in the service of the Lord.
他能够使自己完全的从事灵性的活动，从而彻底的心满意足，留在主的莲花中旁。
But the other impersonalists and the Mayavadas and the Buddhists and so on, they renounce the world, but again they take up some kind of welfare activity, material activities.
非人格主义者，家乡宗主义者以及佛教徒，他们即便弃绝了物质的世界，但是他们会从事一些再次从事一些物质活动。
Because they have no information about the Supreme Personality of God.
这都是由于他们对至尊人格守神欠缺讯息。
So in this way, Srimad Bhagavatam is directing all of us to understand the Lord and to engage in His service.
圣典国家法坛就指导我们，这样去了解至尊圣德神手，从而为他做出服务。
We don't want to just simply be absorbed in a oneness, in this oneness of the impersonal Brahmajyoti.
我们不想让自己全神贯注于这种非人格的Brahmajyoti。
Although there is no suffering there is no real spiritual happiness.
虽然在那里已经不再有物质的痛苦，但是那里并没有品尝不到真正的快乐。
Spiritual happiness is achieved only by engaging in the Lord's service.
真正的灵性快乐，只有通过为主做服务才能达到。
Alright, any questions on this?
我们就讲到这里，有没有什么问题？
Rajendra?
在奉爱服务中和奉献者联谊时的非人格的表现方式。
In devotional service, through association with devotees, what's the symptom that sometimes devotees we still have the symptom of impersonalism?
What are the symptoms that they
In
still have?
dealing with other devotees, sometimes they are somewhat like impersonalists.
Well, sometimes we may use that term impersonalism without fully appreciating the implication. But impersonalism means simply there's no activity in relation to the Supreme Lord.
有时候呢，我们并不确切地理解非人格主义的它的内涵。那实际上，非人格呢是指的是，就是并不了解至尊主的他的活动，就是指的是非人格主义。
They have no taste for chanting the holy names of the Lord or for hearing the glories of the Lord.
他们对于唱诵主的圣名以及聆听主没有品味。
They want to stop activities.
他们想彻底的停止活动。
Right. We often talk, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. So the impersonalist attitude is to stop activities. Hear no evil. Evil.
Evil. 就是不要去听那些不好的，不要去说那些不好的，
The impersonalist way is negation of activities.
非人格主义者的方式，他们是停止一切的活动。
So, of course, it's wrong to hear material topics. It's wrong to discuss mundane affairs of the material world.
所以当然了，去聆听那些世俗的话题，聆听物质世界的种种的这些事物呢，是不对的。
And we don't encourage devotees to be watching mundane movies.
我们也鼓励奉献者们去观看世俗的电影。
Here in Malaysia, they used to have a program some years ago. Now, of course, it's different, but some years ago, that every Saturday afternoon they would have Tamil movies.
在马来西亚，
Not every day.
马来西亚他们这儿有一个活动，就是每周六下午，他们说每一天下午他们都会去观看那个他们这种愚昧形态的电影。
不是就是片，看电视。
看电视。
Yeah, Kandinsha. We used to go on Sankirtan, and every Saturday afternoon people will be at home because they're having Tamil movies on television at that time.
然后当奉献者嘛，他们去上天堂的时候呢，结果呢，这人呢都待在家里，因为周六下午呢，他们会在电视上播放这个就处于愚昧形态的电影。
So that kind of thing, it doesn't help our devotional creeper. It doesn't nourish our attraction to Krishna to watch some mundane movies.
这种活动呢，肯定不利于我们奉爱爬藤的生长，也不利于我们被 Krishna 所吸引。
So the impersonalists they will not watch these things, but a devotee. He will want to absorb himself in Krishna consciousness.
因为非人格主义者呢，他就不会去看这类的电影，但是奉献者呢，会让自己处在 Krishna 的知觉当中。
The impersonalists, they just simply want to be away, to be in silence, to be in solitude, to be alone.
非人格主义者，他们喜欢就是远离。 喜欢保持沉默，喜欢独自一个人待着。
And what are they doing? They're contemplating the divine.
那他们在做什么呢？他们在冥想这个神圣。
But they have no real information about who is the supreme.
但是他们对这个至尊者，他们并没有概念。
And they simply think, ultimately there's only the oneness, there's only the Brahman, the spiritual energy.
他们认为最终呢，只是有这个终极的这个灵性的能量。
And what is that spiritual energy? Oh, it's a bright light, all-pervading light.
那这个能量是什么呢？就是遍存一切的、遍透万有的这个光。
So people want to just simply contemplate that light.
所以人们就喜欢去冥想这个光。
That is the impersonal way.
这就是非人格的方式。
But in contrast, the devotee wants to engage in activities of hearing and chanting.
但是相反，奉献者呢，想要从事的是聆听和唱诵。
Now, sometimes also impersonalists, they also chant. They also read the Bhagavad Gita. They also do chanting of Hare Krishna.
有时候非人格主义者他们也唱诵，他们读国家梵歌，也唱 Hare Krishna。
But their motive is to enter into that oneness. They're not thinking that this is my eternal engagement. They're thinking that this chanting or this Bhagavad Gita reading, it will bring me to the point where I can become God and I can give up all of these activities.
但是他们动机呢？他们想通过唱诵 Hare Krishna，想进入这个 想进入这个境界，他们并不认为唱诵 Hare Krishna 是永恒的事物，只是一个手段而已。
Devotee understands Jiva Swarupahaya Nitya Krishna Das, that he's eternally the servant of Krishna.
奉献者们，他们明白自己的地位是 Krishna 永恒的人。
We are practicing Sanatana Dharma, eternal religion.
我们修习的是 Sanatana Dharma 永恒的宗教。
But the impersonalists are thinking that their devotion, their chanting, their worshipping, it's to the means of becoming God.
但是这些人呢，他们认为唱诵 Hare Krishna 崇拜神像，所有这些活动只是让他们成为神的方法。
And one day they will give up these activities.
迟早有一天，他们将放弃这些活动。
So that's the difference with the devotee and the impersonal.
这是奉献者和非人格主义者的差别所在。
Maharaj, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
So, is it possible if we have not achieved perfection in this life, in the next life, we are born in another planet or in a different universe and continue our devotional practice there? Is the earth much more conducive for practicing Krishna consciousness because Chaitanya Prabhu described the Sankirtan movement? 我的问题就是，如果我们这一世没有抵达完美，下一世我们是否有可能出生在其他的星球或者别的宇宙，还是说这个地球更有利于练习Krishna之学？因为Mahaprabhu他传播了Sankirtan的运动。
Yes, the earth is the best place. It said even the demigods, they want to take birth here in the Kali Yuga because it's the easiest place to get perfection, to go back to Godhead.
的确如此，就地球上是最有利于修行灵修的地方，甚至连半神人都想来到地球，在他理年代，因为在他理年代，在地球上是从事这些活动是回归神手的最简易的方法。
If you take birth in the higher planets and the heavenly planets, then there's a lot of sense gratification there. It makes it very difficult to be serious about devotional service.
如果在高等的星球上，因为那里有大量的感官享乐的机会，一个人要认真的去修习 Krishna 知觉就不太容易了。
But the earth is situated in the middle of the universe. It's not too heavenly or too hellish. It's considered the best situation for practicing devotional service. And simply by devotional service, one can go back to God directly from this place.
但是因为地球处在宇宙的中间，它既不是太处在天堂这样感官享乐的地方，也不是太地狱般的境地，所以在地球上修习 Krishna 知觉，甚至在一世就可以回到神手那里。
But whatever progress you make in this life, we will never lose that. It's to our eternal benefit. In the next life, we go on from that point.
但是无论在这一世取得什么样的进步，达到什么样的进步程度，这都不会损失，在下一世会继续从这一点继续进行。
Bhagavad Gita describes two situations. One practices yoga for a short time, and one practiced for a long time, but still not successful. So the one who practiced for a long time, he would take birth in a family of devotees, and then from his birth, they immediately have the opportunity to do devotional service.
佛教梵歌描述的有两类失败的灵性主者，一类是短时间修行掉下来的，一类是长时间修行之后掉下来的。那么长时间修行之后掉下来的，会投生在一个奉献者家庭，所以从出生他就有机会来进行灵修了。
But someone didn't practice for very long, they may go to the higher planets and satisfy all their material desires, and then will come back and take birth in a wealthy or aristocratic family where they can quickly again take up devotional service.
短时间修习的呢，他们会在高等星球会投生在 贵族家庭，然后他们去那里先满足他们的感官之后再灵修。
Okay. Any other question? Okay, so we'll finish here. Thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.